You've heard all the big, flashy headlines for why startups fail, right? No market need, they ran out of cash, the usual suspects. But what if the real reason is a lot quieter, something much sneakier, happening deep inside the code and the team dynamics? Well, today, we're pulling back the curtain and exposing the 7 silent killers of software development.
So, why do they really fail? That's the million-dollar question that haunts every single founder. Is it one big, catastrophic mistake, a single bad hire, or is it something a whole lot more insidious? Something you don't even realize is happening until it's way, way too late.
The thing is, it's almost never one giant, obvious blunder. It's more like death by 1,000 paper cuts. Tiny, overlooked errors that just pile up over time, slowly weakening your entire company, until one day, the whole thing just collapses. These are the silent killers, and they're practically invisible until the very end.
Okay, so let's kick things off with the mistakes that directly hit the very people you're trying to build for, your users. This is where your big idea meets the real world, and honestly, it's where the first cracks usually start to show.
First up, we've got the classic. The most common trap for passionate, ambitious founders, building way, way too much, way too early. The enthusiasm is awesome, but the execution can be absolutely fatal.
Oh, this is the logic that sinks so many ships. You know the thinking, right? More is better. If I just add this one more feature, then users will finally love my product. So you build dashboards and integrations and notification systems. You're trying to create the perfect all-in-one solution. But perfect is the enemy of done.
And the fallout from this? Oh, it's brutal. Your development cycle grinds to a snail's pace, your costs skyrocket, and by the time you actually get feedback from real users, it's way too late to pivot. Look, you don't need a perfect product to launch, you just need a useful one. The fix is right there. Build a minimum viable product. Solve one problem, solve it incredibly well, and then listen.
Our second silent killer is one that so many technical founders just tragically underestimate, ignoring the user interface and the user experience. And no, this is not just about making things look pretty.
We hear this all the time. Hey, the app works, the functionality is there, that's what matters, right? Wrong. This mindset is so dangerous because your users don't just care if your app works, they care if it feels good to use, if it's intuitive, if it doesn't make them think too hard. And here is the cold, hard truth. Users rarely send you an email complaining about bad design. They just leave. They churn. Silently. A simple, clean, intuitive experience is 1,000 times more powerful than 100 confusing features. Good UX isn't an artistic luxury. It's straight-up business survival.
All right, let's pop the hood for a minute. We're about to get into the really hidden mistakes, the technical debt that doesn't show up on day one, but trust me, it can cause a total system meltdown down the road.
And this one, this is a huge one. Killer number 3 is choosing the wrong technology stack to build your product on. This single decision at the very beginning can either set you up for incredible success or condemn you to a complete soul-crushing rebuild later on. The traps are so easy to fall into. Choosing a technology because it's trending on Twitter, or because your lead developer just really likes it, or because it looks cheap to start. But the right way to choose is always driven by the business. Can it scale? Is there good long-term support? And critically, can you actually find talented people who know how to work with it?
Because if you make the wrong choice here, you are almost guaranteed to eventually hear the 6 most terrifying words in the startup world. This one sentence represents months of wasted time and hundreds of thousands, if not millions, of dollars just flushed down the drain.
Now, our fourth killer might sound a little weird. It's having no plan for success. So many startups build a product that works perfectly fine for a dozen users, but they are completely, totally unprepared for what happens if people actually, start using it.
I mean, this chart tells the whole story. Your app is running beautifully with 100 users. It's fast, it's responsive, everyone's happy. But the second you hit 1,000 users, not even that many, the entire system just collapses. Performance tanks, the app starts crashing, and all those new users you worked so hard to get have an awful first impression. Planning to scale isn't optional.
Killer number 5 is the one everybody thinks is a later problem: security. But here's the deal. In today's world, trying to add security later is like building a brand new bank and deciding you'll install the vault after you've already opened for business. It just doesn't work.
A single, tiny oversight can kick off a catastrophic domino effect. It might start with something that seems small, like weak password requirements. Then a data breach happens, and just like that, all the user trust you spent years building is gone. It's destroyed. And finally, your brand's reputation is killed, maybe for good. Trust is the hardest thing to earn and the absolute easiest thing to lose.
Okay, for our final category of killers, we're stepping away from the code and the design. We're going to talk about the human element, about people and process. These are the invisible forces that decide whether a team builds something truly great or something truly broken.
Oh, here's a classic. Killer number 6, having no proper documentation. I get it. Skipping it feels like you're moving faster, like you're saving time. But in reality, you're just borrowing that time from your future self, and you're going to pay it back with some very heavy interest.
Think about it. When there's no documentation, every new developer you hire struggles for weeks just to figure out how things work. Bugs start popping up everywhere because no one understands the whole system, and worst of all the critical knowledge gets trapped inside one person's head. What happens if that person wins the lottery and quits? You're in serious trouble. The fix is simple. Just write down the basics: your architecture, your APIs, your core business logic. It's not a chore, it's insurance for your startup.
And that brings us to our final, and maybe the quietest, most insidious killer of them all. Number 7, poor communication. And I'm not talking about big arguments or team drama. I'm talking about the silent void that's created by simple, unchecked assumptions.
And that's the real tragedy of it all. The founders assume the developers just get the vision. The developers assume the requirements they were given are clear and complete. And the result? You end up with a beautifully engineered, technically perfect product that solves the completely wrong problem. Great software isn't built on assumptions. It's built on constant, relentless clarity.
So after all that, where does this leave us? We've just walked through 7 pretty scary silent killers. But I don't want you to see this as just a list of ways to fail. Think of it as your startup's survival guide. The most important thing I want you to walk away with is this: these mistakes don't announce themselves. There's no loud alarm bell. They are quiet. They are subtle. They are the little, seemingly harmless decisions that compound over months and years, right up until the moment it's completely too late to fix them. So I'm going to leave you with one question to really think about. Take a hard look at your own project, your own team, your own code. Are you building a software foundation that's designed to last, or are some of these silent killers already at work? Building that solid foundation from day one isn't just a good idea, it's non-negotiable. And hey, if you want some expert guidance to make sure your software or AI project is built to withstand these kinds of pressures, check out the resources over at nohitatu.com.